Everyone, welcome to this video tutorial on Golang vs Python by Simplilearn. In this session, we will go through a brief introduction to both the languages Golang and Python. After knowing both the languages, we will compare them on various parameters. Further, we will discuss disadvantages of both the languages. So, hey everyone, I am Abhisar Ahuja from Simplilearn and welcome to this video on Golang vs Python. But before we begin, if you love watching tech videos, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Now, we will look into what is Golang. Go, also known as Golang, is an open source programming language developed by Google. Go programming language was born due to the complexity of managing the infrastructure and code bases within Google. Go was designed by Robert Griesemer, Pike and Ken Thompson. It is a statically typed compiled language. Not only that, Go supports concurrent programming, that is, it allows running multiple processes simultaneously. This is achieved using channels, goroutines, etc. And moreover, you can run your first code without any setup on the playground provided at golang.org. Now, let's get an introduction about what is Python. Python. It is a popular, in-demand, general-purpose programming language with straightforward syntax. Python was developed by Guido van Rossum in 1989 and was released in 1991. Python's name was taken from the popular BBC comedy show Monty Python's Flying Circus. Now, we are familiar with both the languages. Let's get down to comparing them. We will compare both the languages on various parameters. Firstly, we will compare on the parameter paradigm. Go is a multi-paradigm programming language. It is procedural, functional, and concurrent language, whereas Python supports four main programming paradigms, that is, imperative, functional, procedural, and object-oriented. Let's compare the two on the topic of performance. When we talk about performance, Go is fast. The performance is similar to that of Java or C++. Go is 40 times faster than Python. To have a check, we will compare the performance of the languages by solving three complex problems, that is, the Mandelbrot equation, n-body problem, and binary tree. It is to evaluate memory usage and time spent to solve the problem. We have chosen these three problems as they are considered the best way to test the memory management and performance of the language. Here, you can see the stats of both the languages. You can see that Golang takes 6.23 seconds and uses 30,108 units of memory, whereas the Python takes 253.19 seconds and 60,410 units of memory to solve the Mandelbrot problem. Binary tree problem, Go takes 29.02 seconds and uses 4,98,160 units of memory, whereas the Python takes 79.03 seconds and uses 4,47,324 units of memory to solve the problem. For n-body problem, Go takes 23.5 seconds and uses 1641 units of memory, whereas the Python takes 765.34 seconds and uses 7944 units of memory to solve this problem. This clearly shows that Golang has outperformed Python when it comes to performance. Let's compare the two on the topic of scalability. The whole purpose of developing Golang was scalability. This is why Golang has inbuilt support for concurrent process channeling, that is concurrency. On the other hand, Python has a hard time with concurrency, but it can execute parallelism through threads. Let's understand the concept of concurrency and parallelism. Concurrency means that an application runs more than one task simultaneously, but only one upfront and rest in the background. If the computer possesses one CPU, The application may not progress on multiple tasks simultaneously, but more than one task is processed inside the application. It does not finish one task before it begins the next. You can see the plot of concurrency here. Here, different tasks are running, but only one is running at the upfront and others are running in the background. Now, we move to parallelism. Parallelism means that an application runs its task into smaller tasks that can be processed in parallel, that is, on multiple CPUs simultaneously. Let's see an example of a team of technicians building a monitor. Concurrency allows multiple technicians building different parts of the monitor, but they share one common workbench for assembling the parts. Only one technician can assemble at the workbench at a time, and other technicians operate on their parts in the background. With parallelism, you can have multiple workbenches where technicians can be building parts simultaneously. So, it's obvious that a language has support for concurrency. It is perfect for big and scalable programs. Let's move ahead and compare these two languages based on their applications. Golang is mostly used for systems programming. Due to its inherent support for concurrency, Golang has also found ample use and acceptance in cloud computing and cluster computing. Golang has also seen a lot of recognition and use in artificial intelligence and data science. Due to its powerful and easy to use libraries, Go can set up a web server in a matter of seconds. Go is also used in microcontroller programming, robotics, and games. On the other hand, Python is widely used in web development, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and deep learning. This can be mostly accredited to the insane libraries available in Python that make the life in the said fields a lot easier. Let's compare the two on the topic of execution. Now, let's understand how Go and Python are executed. Golang is a statically typed language, whereas Python is a dynamically typed language. Both Python and Golang use interpreter and a compiler respectively. Now, we will understand what is statically typed language and dynamically typed language. In a statically typed language, variable types are declared explicitly for the compiler so that even trivial bugs are caught easily. Whereas in a dynamically typed language, the interpreter implements type inference. Hence, some bugs may remain because the interpreter interprets something incorrectly. It implies that Python, a dynamically typed language, limits the programmer when he intends to build a really big program. At the same time, Go can handle both types of programs. Let's get on to the libraries in both the languages. In Golang, you would have to write your code to search through data tables. And if you want to implement machine learning, it would be a huge shot to develop in Go. But this doesn't mean Golang falls short in any terms. While developing Go, Google chose the most important libraries as a part of their inbuilt Go libraries. We can see here that GOM library. It helps in converting data between incompatible type systems. We can see another library that is CLI. It was developed for building command line apps for Go. GoKit. It is GitHub's popular library for Go related microservices. Authorization Boss. It is an easy way to implement authentication and authorization in your web systems. While the number may not be as boisterous as Python's, the covered usage fields are almost identical. They have built-in libraries for web development, database handling, concurrent programming, and encryption. Yes, Python is almost 16 years older than Go, which results in much larger community and online support. The Python libraries, in particular, are vast. Exploring data tables can be easily done with pandas, and machine learning is simple with TensorFlow and PyTorch. This type of support can get anyone writing code from the day one. Now, let's get to the next point of comparison, that is readability. While developing software, you will generally work as a team with tens or even hundreds of other developers. At such time, code readability is the major factor to consider. Golang has strict programming rules. It doesn't allow unnecessary variables to be defined or unnecessary libraries to be imported. This implies a definite way to perform a task, leading to a better understanding of code while working in a team. Golang syntax is not friendly to beginners, but it's not as unforgiving as C or C++. On the other hand, Python sure has fantastic readability, but there are probably 10 different ways to say the same thing in Python, which mostly leads to confusion whenever the script is big or while working in a team. Here we can see a simple example of adding two numbers, that is 7 and 9, in both the languages. In Golang, there's a definite way to write a code, whereas in Python, you can write in different forms, but the readability is really fantastic. Now, we will consider memory management as a next comparison. Golang provides with great memory management, whereas Python offers no memory management, which comes in handy while running the complex problems which we have seen above while comparing performances. That's it for this comparison for now. Now we will look into few drawbacks of Go language. Firstly, it is not a generic language. Till now, Go does not have any generic support. This is due to the repetition of codes for the same type of operations but with different data types. Moreover, some data structures cannot be implemented due to lack of generic support. Next is fewer libraries and frameworks. There are no major frameworks for Golang developers. Other languages such as Ruby has Ruby on Rails, Python has Django, and PHP has Laravel. The next drawback is it is still in the development stage. Being in the development stage, Golang developers are finding it hard to make out of its libraries. In case of doubt, there isn't much assistance through the Go community or online support. We have looked upon the drawbacks of Go language. Now, we will look into the drawbacks of Python language. Here, you can see that it is weak in mobile computing, hence, it is not used in app development. The Python uses the underdeveloped and primitive database access layer. You can also see that there's a absence of commercial support for Python. And as Python is dynamic language, it shows more errors at runtime. With that, we have come to the end of this session. I hope it was interesting and informative. If you liked it, please let us know in the comment section below. Also, do subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.